If you look out the top, this is what a cicada looks like when it's coming out of the ground.
Yeah, that's
So you got artwork over here as well.
Are you ready?
Cheers.
Actually, I'm less scared of this. Okay.
Oh, the crunch.
Do I have a wing hanging out of my mouth?
Cicadas. Shouldn't CNN be eating crow? All right. You know what it's time for?
Hey kids, it's time for Democrat Corner.
Yes, welcome to Democrat Corner. We're your host, Greg Gutfeld, that's me, gives a quick lesson in basic things to help Democrats stop ruining your lives. Tonight's very special episode, Cause and Effect. So you're probably wondering, what is cause and effect? I'm a Democrat. Simply put, Democrat, it's when one thing makes another thing happen. For example, when Kat drinks too much tequila.
Here we go.
She doesn't go to work the next day. That's cause and effect. Then she stays home and watches forensic files all day, which makes her depressed. Cause and effect. Then she starts abusing horse tranquilizers. Cause and effect. Which is how I sold all those horse tranquilizers. Cause and amazing effects. See, cause and effect can lead to bad things if you don't consider the consequences of your actions. For example, if you remove consequences to criminal acts, criminals will commit more crime. But if you punish crime, crime will go away, because cause and effect. So, you probably saw this horrible attack at NYC. It's one of many. This insaniac who punched her had been arrested 17 times. But bail reform today means no bail and no jail. It's catch and release with fiends instead of fish. The upside, the prisons aren't overcrowded. The downside, Chinatown emergency rooms are. That's cause and effect. Now, cause and effect, example 2. Mayor de Blasio cut $90+ million that was meant to build a new police precinct. Because police are bad, screamed the media, even the ones that guard their studios. But in the last 5 months, NYC has had 531 shootings, up from 295 in the same time frame. I do the math, but I'm too important for that. So now the mayor is reinstating the money for the precinct. We could have told him that would happen. We actually did. But apparently we were drowned out by the voices in his lumpy, googly-eyed head. Cause and effect, example 3. Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott once pushed to cut the police budget by $22 million. Now he's proposing a $27 million increase. Wonder why? Homicides are up 17%. Cause and effect. Defunding reduced the police force and more people died, probably minorities. But to libs, addition and subtraction is harder than calculus. So as crime increased and law enforcement was vilified, what did we predict? Example 4. More first-time gun buyers, me included. Ironically, Democrat mayors are causing gun sales to increase. The New York Times just admitted this. Roughly 1/5 of all gun purchasers last year were first-timers. And it ain't old white boys like me. Nope, half were women, 1/5 were black, and 1/5 were Hispanic. And they were younger. And trying to take those guns increases the likelihood they'll vote Republican. I do love that half the new purchases were from women. Now that's an accessory. It beats a fitness tracker. The highest concern for purchase, though, was personal safety. Apparently, guns are the new seatbelts in 2021. And fewer people said it's for sports and recreation. Today, that's like calling my purse a messenger bag. See, after the politicians and media decided to make your communities less safe, it's up to you to provide your own security. See, a white liberal doesn't need a gun to do damage. All he needs is a poisonous idea and a little power. And they will destroy communities quicker than 5,000 Democrats moving to Huntsville. And they'll do it without a second thought, because they almost never have a second thought. Look at Portland, Oregon. But not for too long. The flashbangs will burn out your retinas. According to John Nolte of Breitbart, on May 12th, it recorded its 30th murder of the year. That's 5 times more than were recorded during the same period in 2020. This after last year's Portland City Council cut the police budget by nearly 15%. By the end of April, they had twice the number of shootings. And according to their hapless, pathetic mayor, who had to flee his own condo, the city had an 85% decline in downtown foot traffic, unless you count the people running for their lives. Most of the remaining foot traffic is Antifa. And even when those creeps are arrested, the DA declines charges like they're a collect call from Hunter Biden. Cause and effect. This seems like the easiest thing to learn, but not a single Democrat can. We knew that Antifa, or as Joe Biden calls them, an idea, being allowed to destroy a city, would destroy a city. We knew pushing the defunding of police and branding them psychopaths would weaken the forces and lead to emboldened criminals and minority victims. They bear the brunt of this. You didn't have to be Miss Cleo to see this coming. I wonder what the angry white male has to say.
Oh, the liberal elites? Well, look, I gotta say, I like them okay. Yeah. I got a lot of friends who I'd describe that way, and look, they're good people. Good conversationalists. They like wine, books, good movie recommendations. Yeah, I like them. By the way, I like babies and puppies too, but I wouldn't put them in charge of a city.
He's whiter than a Pat Boone family reunion. Let's check in on the angry black male.
Hey, what's up? Want to defund the police in your city? Sure, the crime goes up. I mean, I'm not an epidemiologist or nothing, but if I want to keep the crime down in my city, I would support my police department. It's not rocket surgery. Nice day, though.
So, Democrats, this has been today's lesson in cause and effect. Thank you for joining us on Democrat Corner. We hope that you remember some of it. Biden's 78, but you have no excuse. Let's welcome tonight's guest. She used to answer the president's questions. Now she questions the president's answers. Outnumbered co-host Haley McEnany. He was elected to Congress at 25, the same age when I accomplished renting a car. North Carolina Congressman Madison Cawthorn. She's like a fence, wiry, useful, and can be seen outside of prisons. Fox News contributor Kat Timm. And a bus once got stuck in his footprints. My massive sidekick and host of Nuff Said on Fox Nation, Tyrus. All right, I'm going to go to you first, Congressman, only because it's weird calling you Congressman when you're like half of Kat's age.
I'm pretty sure I don't have to be called Congressman until I'm 30, so you're in the clear. And Kat, you're only 21. We checked.
See, I like this guy.
He's like a better-looking version of Tom Brady.
Right? I was telling you earlier, you know, when I used to be single, I would kill it in Boston every time.
Don't go to Tampa.
So what do you mean? You're a congressman, you deal with Republicans all the time, you're a new member. What is it about cause and effect that they don't understand?
You know what I would say when you start seeing what's going on in Congress, and you can say it's on both sides of the aisle, but it's almost entirely on the Democratic side of the aisle. They are ruled by a single person, embodied by Nancy Pelosi, who carries out her will with an iron fist. And it doesn't matter what these Democratic congressmen feel in their hearts, or if they think that, wow, you know what? If we do defund the police in Portland, then maybe our retinas will be burned out with flashbangs.
Yeah.
But the problem is that they are more afraid of losing re-election and Nancy Pelosi being against them than they are of doing the right thing for their constituents. And that is what is wrong with Congress.
Kaylee, do you agree with this young Tom Brady? Or I actually think that even though they know that we are right, meaning we non-liberals, they would rather let people suffer than be seen agreeing with us. It's like the Trump effect with the Wuhan lab theory. It's like he had the most plausible theory, but you couldn't agree with him because that was Trump.
Yeah, exactly right. And I do agree with Tom Brady, who we gladly welcomed to Tampa and won a Super Bowl. That aside, yeah, the cause and effect, you're spot on. Okay, you defund the police. What do you think is going to happen? You let violent criminals out of prison during a pandemic. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
But here is what amazes me. They take it a step further and they say, we have the answers for violent crime. It's that there's a pandemic and everyone's locked inside,
Yes.
so therefore murders have gone up. Excuse me? How does that make any sense? Even in Mexico, murders went down.
Yes.
But here in the United States, they're skyrocketing because of cause
And
and effect.
also, who locked them inside? Same Democrats.
Yes.
Exactly.
How do you like Outnumbered so far? You having a good time?
I love it. You haven't joined us yet.
Oh,
I invited you weeks ago.
I'm picking the right moment.
Yes, well, we would welcome you anytime. We need you as a one lucky guy.
Aren't I a lucky guy just being here?
Yes, you are.
Don't you think so, Tyrus?
Yup.
By the way, where did you film One Angry Black Male?
In a secret location, Greg. I don't give away my disclosure, but let's just say the hotel treats me nice. There's a problem with your monologue, and you know I always like your monologues.
Yes.
I very rarely ever dislike your monologues, but I just feel like you're like a bad guy in a movie who's trying to tell me forget the plan, just go shoot him. You just don't get it, Greg.
Yes.
You keep saying cause and effect. All they understand is cause. Yeah. And they always want causes that don't affect them.
Ooh.
So it's very easy to sit in a very nice place in a cush apartment or condo or penthouse or wherever you're living talking about, well, of course let them do this and do that because it's not effective. We don't need police. I've got a doorman and a security guard. I don't need police. Let's get rid of them. They're never affected by what's going on in the world. And then when it gets to the point where they can see the fire burning from their special viewing place where they sip their wine and talk about days of old that they never contributed in, that's when it's a problem. And then they're like, hey, let's refund the police. That doesn't help because most of the officers have left town,
Right.
retired early, and wouldn't come back for double the wages. So they're, we're going to fix it again. They don't. Here's another thing they could learn from Republicans. They don't know how to change the narrative very good.
Right.
You can't just say, oh, new information. Breaking news, we just heard that there was a lab in Wuhan that might have done it. This is crazy. We never knew this. And then someone's going, the one Republican on the panel is like, excuse me, we told you this too. No, you're racist. Sorry. Like they cannot fix problems because they're just out of touch.
Right.
Pelosi only cares about getting her hair done and making sure her ice cream freezer's full. As long as she's got ice cream and a good permanent,
Yeah.
we good.
Yeah. Wonder if she gets hair in that ice cream.
I'm, between the dentures falling out, maybe, I don't know.
Yes. You know, Kat, I thought that for you, I thought The Hangover was the best example of cause and effect. The Hangover, you drink too much, you pay the price. That's exactly like voting for Democrats.
Yeah,
It might feel good, but
And
then
the
the next-
hangover was a perfect analogy to involve me in because I am a raging alcoholic and a horse tranquilizer addict, apparently.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
Don't forget the computer cleaner that you've been snorting.
Huffing, yes.
You've been huffing that.
Absolutely. Look, it was so exciting for a little bit there, these meaningful conversations we were having about criminal justice reform. Republicans were on board with a lot of this stuff. We were having these important conversations, and it was exciting. It got exciting, and sometimes when things get exciting, someone just has to go full idiot.
Yeah.
And that's what the left is saying, okay, defund the police, and to deal with the overcrowding, let's let violent felons with repeated violence and the acts of violence in their past out of jail. So now we're seeing this, and everyone's saying, well, what happened? It's quite obvious what happened. There's a huge difference between wanting criminal justice reform and wanting a ton of crime, violent crime on your streets, because I do not like violent crime.
Yeah,
I stand strongly against it.
And I'm not going to say where you live because I tweeted it earlier.
Oh,
but
thank you.
There are hotels in parts of New York City that are filled with felons.
Yes.
But we're told that we say homeless. Right, these people are homeless, but they're homeless because they were released from Rikers, which is a prison.
Yes.
So we can't say these are. No one says they're released felons until they go out and they commit a crime on the street of Manhattan, and then you find out, oh, this guy has been arrested 8 times in the past 4 months, and he's just going back in and out and in and out, and that's the solution. It is we've reached the nadir. I don't know if it can get any lower than it is, but it's very sad. Very sad indeed. And
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.